Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Truth Trackers. So today we have a very interesting topic that has been taking the world by storm. I'm sure we have possibly heard this conspiracy theory from our family, our friends, or even from the media, and today we are going to be debunking it. So at this point, you're probably wondering,
what is this conspiracy theory?
The COVID-19 vaccines contain microchips to track us and make us magnetic. Now, there's a lot to unpack here. So, firstly, I'm going to be starting off by saying that I do not believe this theory. And I'm going to be moving forward telling you why I don't believe it and also explaining a little bit on the people that do believe it, what would lead them to think that. So, to start off, this theory has been thoroughly debunked by experts and reputable health organizations. Vaccines do not include microchips or other tracking technologies. Instead, they are used to boost the immune system and guard against certain diseases. There is no science behind the claim that these vaccines contain microchips. Misinformation is very easily spread in today's society, and that is actually all that this theory is: misinformation. Vaccines go through rigorous testing and regulatory processes before being approved for the public use, and this has been confirmed by health organizations such as Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the World Health Organization. A pediatric infectious disease specialist at the University of Maryland School of Medicine, Dr. Matt Lawrence, speaks on the topic and mentions how, in quotes, that's just not possible as far as the size that would be required for that microchip. Another point he mentioned talked about how a microchip would have to have an associated power source, and that power source would have to transmit a signal through at least an inch of muscle, fat, and skin to a remote device, which again, that just doesn't make any sense. When talking about the actual injection itself, COVID vaccines are administered with 25 to 22 gauze needles. So these have an internal diameter between 0.26 and 0.41 millimeters. When comparing it to a chip with 5 gig functionality, it is a little smaller than a penny. So the smallest radio frequency identification / chip is reaching the size of about 0.125 millimeters. But these chips only function when attached to a coil antenna that makes the single chip system about the size of a grain of rice. So this would require a syringe about 13 times larger than the one that's actually used to inject the vaccine. This again proves that with the science needed to make this chip actually useful, the vaccine does not fit that profile. And let's be real, guys, with the use of phones, credit cards, and all the other things in today's world, when it comes to the government tracking us, the vaccines is the least of our issues. Now, although I feel I have given reason to why this theory is false, there are many things in the media and all around us that we may not even take notice to that can play a role in swaying our opinion. So for example, you may or may not follow Formula One star Lewis Hamilton on Instagram or any other social media platform. And earlier he posted a TV interview with Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, who actually funds the research for the vaccine. And in the video, Mr. Gates dismisses the rumors that the vaccine would involve injecting people with microchips so that they can be tracked. A video was posted by his account, and on the footage, he added a laughing face emoji with the words, "I remember when I told my first lie." So this is what Hamilton shared with his 18 million followers. That statement suggests that Bill Gates' reassurance over the vaccine's safety and his dismissal of the conspiracy theories are untrue. Seeing this post along with his 18 million followers can push people to believe that these vaccines may contain microchips, primarily based on his large platform. This can be considered bandwagoning, because if all these 18 million people follow him and look up to him, well, why wouldn't I? So, as we know, the media is widely growing in today's society. People have free will to post whatever they want, and these statements have the power to reach multiple audiences. The main source of vaccine misinformation stems from the social media. People may have negative feelings toward Bill Gates simply for the reason that he is high up on the social hierarchy or something along those lines. People often tend to be jealous of what they don't have. Or they may have another reason for not liking him. So they aren't a fan of him, which results in them not being a fan of the things that he's involved with. In this case, it's the vaccine. This is called ad hominem. These feelings towards him can lead to an attack on his position. By people doing this, they are spreading their bias on him and the things that he is involved with to the internet, causing people to possibly think the same. One last thing before we wrap this up is something called hasty generalization. As we know, everyone is very different. Everyone's body reacts differently to certain things. For example, someone may have a nut allergy and someone may not. There were a few stories explaining how different people had side effects after injecting the vaccine. This can be used to generalize that vaccines are dangerous, they contain microchips, they're magnetic, and give people more of a reason to believe that this theory is true. Although microchips and someone having a slight cough after taking the vaccine are two very different things, and there's no science to prove otherwise. Another thing that this can be looked at as is a slippery slope. For example, if someone was already iffy about having this vaccine and they're starting to feel off, I feel sick, I feel off, there must be microchips in there, they're tracking us, it's a slippery slope, although that is not true at all. And that is why it is so important to do your research, know your facts, and think before you speak. Alrighty, fellow truth trackers, thanks so much for following along on this week's conspiracy theory. Stay curious, stay questioning, and keep exploring the unknown. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your mind sharp.